Hello. So today we'll be seeing this case of the Mohri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh. Now this is an extremely important case as far as Indian Contract Act is concerned. It is related to, as we can see, the minors agreement or a contract which is entered into by a minor. What is a minor? A person who is below the age of 18 years. Okay, so this is a landmark case which laid down the principle of the agreement by a minor and the status of those agreements. So this case is called as the Mohri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh. So I would like to give you a brief about the essentials of a valid contract. Now the essentials of valid contract are given in section 10, which says that there has to be two parties. These two parties have to be competent. They have to enter into the agreement by free consent, and there has to be a consideration, and this agreement or this contract has to be for a lawful object. Okay. Now, as far as the competency of the parties is concerned, this case is very important, as I said. So, these are the brief introduction of the case. The appellant was Mohri Bibi, the defendant was Dharmodas Ghosh, and the case was decided by the court in High Court of Calcutta, and it concerns the minors agreement. Now you can go through this. Now I'll tell you the facts of the case in brief. So Dharmodas Ghosh was a landlord, like the people who lend money in the village. So Dharmodas Ghosh lent money to a minor who didn't know that the child was a minor, but his manager Kedar Singh knew that the person who was asking for money was a minor. Although knowing that the person who was asking for money is a minor, Dharmodas Ghosh gave 20,000 rupees. Now this is at the time early 1900s. So it was a huge amount back then. So Dharmodas Ghosh gave 20,000 rupees to the uh, the child, and the child mortgaged the property. Now, some time later, some months later, a year later maybe, his mother, Mohri Bibi, came and that said that the mortgage which the child had done is invalid because the child, the minor, had no capacity to enter into a contract in the first place. Now, this was a lot of fix because what should be done regarding the money has already been advanced. The child has mortgaged the property, and how can they, not confiscate the property? They were in a lot of fix. So the case went ahead, and it was decided that the child is not capable of entering into a contract, and thus this contract is invalid, and the effect of that would be now. So they are saying that a child is incapable of entering into a contract. Now, why is that so? Why is that child incapable of making a? Now, if you here, you can see section 10, which says that the parties have to be competent. Now, section 11 lays down what are the essentials of competency. Now, how will you decide the competency of a person? So, uh, as far as the competency of the person is concerned, a person becomes competent when he achieves the age of majority. A person who is not of unsound mind is also competent to make a contract, and a person who is not disqualified by law. For example, a person who is undergoing sentence in prison, maybe that person is not eligible to enter into a contract. Okay, so these are three types of persons, three types which define the competency of a party, and thus when the judgment was that minor cannot enter into a contract, and if a minor enters into a contract, that contract will be void. It will be null, as if it was never there. Okay, so that contract is incapable of being enforced. Okay, so here what happens is because the minor cannot understand the consequences of the case, he cannot understand what is going to be the effect of what he's going to do. Therefore, the contract is void. Okay, hence the mortgage is also not valid, and because the contract is invalid, of course, the minor cannot be compelled to repay the amount or repay the loan that has been taken from the Dharmodas Ghosh, and he's not bound to pay or the mortgage. Now here law of estoppel means estopping, literally stopping from what you have said. So here he had made the promise of mortgage, but other person, any normal or major person would be like he cannot get away from his promise. But in that case, law of estoppel also does not apply to the minors. Yeah, sure. So this was about the case, and thank you so much. It was a quick review of Mohri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh. Thank you.